So before we get into the formula, we got to know that pricing is going to be your most important thing. When you price right, you receive good profit, then you can scale. So two things when you do your pricing, you either do one is over the phone. You close deals over the phone, you provide a quote, you ask qualifying questions, and you can receive a price, and then from there, you schedule the cleaning. Second is you do an in-person estimate. So when you do in-person estimates, for my company, we do it specifically for move-ins and move-outs and post-construction cleanings. So we do 90% of our sales is gonna be over the phone, 10% is gonna be in person. So reasons to be doing an in-person estimate is because the customer is mentioning things that are giving you uncertainty of the condition of the home. They are mentioning the house is in bad condition, the house hasn't been cleaned in a very long time. Things that are gonna alert you that a in-person estimate is required, that's when I would suggest to do so. And when you do the in-person estimates, you want to give the price right then and there. If you can schedule it in person, you're gonna save so much time, so many steps. So if you do get any objections, answer the objections with your qualifying questions. One of the most important qualification questions you should ask is what's important to them. Once they tell you what's important to them, you can use that during the objections that they give you. So you could create urgency so that you can close the deal right then and there. You're already there, let's just schedule it in. So that's what you do when you're in-person estimates. When you're over the phone, you ask your qualifying questions, which we're gonna go over the how to get your price. You use that and then you can schedule it in accordingly to your availability. So let's get into the formula. So the formula is going to be very simple. This is what's going to give you your pricing for your residential cleaning. So you'll start off with the hourly pay. What are you going to pay your employees? What we do is we pay 15% above the minimum wage. So you have to know what your minimum wage is in your state. Then you could from there add 15%, and that should give you a very competitive hourly rate. So once you get your hourly rate, now you want to know how many hours it's going to take you to do the job. So you should know how long it would take you to do a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and so forth, so forth. Especially if the client wants to have additional services onto it, you also have to know how long that would take. Again, if you are uncertain of how to price that cleaning, then that's when you schedule an in-person estimate. There's nothing wrong with doing in-person estimates. It gives you a better viewpoint of what is needed for that specific house, and you will know exactly how many hours to schedule it for. So once you get your hourly rate, then you get the how long it's going to take you for that job. So if it's going to take you 8 hours to do that job, you can schedule one person to do the job for the entire day, or you will schedule a team of 2 for 4 hours. So a few things to keep in mind when you are scheduling those hours. Once you ask the qualifying questions, it's going to give you a better viewpoint of how to provide a better experience for that customer. So you're going to see bedrooms, baths, offices, the type of floor, any additional services that you suggest that customer should add to their service, and most importantly, what's important to them. What are the expectations of the type of service that they are wanting from you, right? Like, how can we provide you the service better than anybody else? Once you get those questions answered, then you're going to be able to provide a very concrete time frame of how long that cleaning is going to take you. So part of that hourly rate, you're going to add your costs that is going to take you to complete the job. That includes mileage, that includes materials, that includes workers' comp insurance, all of the things that is going to take you to complete that specific job, you want to include it in your hourly rate. So for bidding of this home, this is a 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom. They're using one of their bedrooms as an office. So as I do the walkthrough around this house, I am looking at what things I could suggest to the customer that would provide them a better experience. That's my overall goal. How can I provide a good experience to this customer? So I'm looking at those areas that might be missed or overlooked, and I'm keeping those areas in mind. As I'm walking around with the customer, I am asking them what is important to them. Why did you call us to do a quote? Like, why a cleaning now? And what's important to you for this cleaning? As they walk me around and they show me what's important to them for this cleaning, I am in my head just keeping track of how big the home is. I would look at the rooms to see if there's carpeted areas or if the whole house is tile. I keep that in mind, so at the end I know how many hours it should take. And in the kitchen area, I look at the stove, inside of the microwave, inside of the oven. I look at those areas to see how we can provide a cleaning if that's what was important to them. And again, I am looking at areas that I could suggest while I'm doing the quote or at the end of the quote to give them a better experience. I'm looking at blinds, I'm looking at baseboards, I'm looking at where the dust is landing in the home. On top of fridges is like a very popular spot for dust to land. So if you look on top of the fridge, it's gonna let you know how dusty the house could be. Looking at ceiling fans, can we reach the ceiling fans? Because for insurance purposes, for my company, we don't dust any areas that we can't reach with the two-step ladder. So I'm looking at those specific areas is to see if we could do it. I'm also looking at the glass. How many sliding glass doors do they have? Should I tell them about doing inside windows? I'm looking at all of these specific areas so that I could really give that type of experience to the customer. And during the quote, I'm just communicating with them, making them feel like they are important in this piece. And I want to welcome them into telling me what's important to them so that I can let them know that that's the type of job that we can do. As I'm doing the walkthroughs, I'm also looking at attention to detail areas that we can do. I'm looking at their beds. I'm looking at the furniture that they have in their living room. I'm looking at little knickknacks of things that we could organize, we can present, we can make it look more presentable for them so that when we go in, they know that those are the areas that we touched. And you know, all those little things makes a customer feel more welcomed and satisfied with the service. In the bathroom areas, as I'm going into the bathrooms, one of the biggest things that I'm looking at is the glass. Is there a stand-up shower glass door? What type of glass do they have in their shower? That's where a lot of the soap scum can land. So that can be very time consuming if they are not keeping up with their glass. I'm looking at how many sinks. I'm looking at how many light fixtures, their light switches, their doorknobs, things that are going to require a lot of attention. I'm keeping things in mind so that at the end I can get those hours. Now, the more that you do walkthroughs, you're going to get a better understanding of how many hours it's going to take. So if you are just starting with your business, I would recommend for you to do walkthroughs. Walkthroughs is going to give you the experience for you to know how to price your cleanings correctly. Plus, you're gonna see so many houses, so you're gonna be able to get that experience of knowing how long the cleaning will take. So once I'm done with the walkthrough, I repeat to the customer what was important to them. I repeat the things that they told me that they wanted in their service. I also suggest areas in the home that I feel that we can add onto the cleaning to provide a better experience. If they say yes to those things, I throw them on the quote. Before I give them the number for the quote, I tell them what's included in the service. I tell them what's included in our standard cleaning, the add-on services, that includes the materials and the supplies. It's a team of 2. For my company, we always include the make it right guarantee. So we will always make it right. That is the value that we provide for our service. Once I let them know, I say, do you want to add anything else to the quote? If they say, nope, that is fine, I provide them the price, and then that's when I don't say anything else. They will tell me how they feel right after I give them that. Now, if you are like me, I love sales, I like a challenge. So the objections is going to help me be able to understand the customer on, is it a price thing or is it a service thing? Something that maybe another company told them that they're going to add for their service, or maybe they just don't have a full understanding of what's included in the service. So if it's a price thing, I always ask, hey, we can take some of these add-ons off, or what is your budget for this cleaning? What do you value this cleaning? So I have a metrics where if they tell me that they have a budget and they give me their budget. So for example, if I give them a cleaning for $300 and their budget is $200, then I look at my metrics on where we could be still profitable and bring these cleaning in. So if the customer doesn't fit the profit margin that you want to be in, then you can just go your separate ways. Tell that customer, unfortunately, it won't work out. But what we do in my business to get those hours in and serve those customers that don't have the budget for our standard cleaning, we provide a service called our partial cleaning. Our partial cleaning includes 2 areas for 2 hours for $200. So we provide 2 areas around their home for 2 hours of a cleaning, which is 4 hours total for $200. That is the last thing that I would say to the customer to see if they are interested in our services. Now, if that doesn't work, then we unfortunately just go our separate ways and then we just go to the next estimate. So when you're doing these in-person estimates, you got to keep in mind that you're not going to be able to close every single deal. So don't get discouraged. Once you get enough experience in doing in-person estimates, the more estimates that you do, you're going to be able to understand better ways to present your services, how to communicate with a customer, and what is required from you and from the customer to provide them the best experience possible. So coming back to the house. So in this house, 5 bedroom, 3 bath, there's an office as well that is replacing a bedroom. The blinds and the baseboards needed some attention. The bathrooms needed some attention, and the kitchen also needed some attention. So in this cleaning, if we would have included the add-ons, which is the blinds and the baseboards, I would have scheduled this cleaning for about 12 hours total. This would have been a team of 2 for 6 hours. It's about 3,200 square feet. It's a really big home, and I want to make sure that we do a very thorough cleaning so that we can get this cleaning ready for reoccurring services. So there's 2 ways that you can do your pricing. You can do your pricing per hour. You can do the pricing per job. Since I started my company, I've always priced per job. Whether we take less or whether we take more, the price stays the same. I wouldn't like it if a company calls me back and tells me that the cleaning is going to cost more. It's just not going to give me a good taste. So I don't do that for customers. I tell the customers, this is going to be the price for your cleaning, whether we take 4 hours or we take 6 hours. Make them feel welcome. Make them feel heard. So ask them what's important, hear them out, give them the quote that they deserve that's going to make them come back. So when you're doing estimates over the phone, have your qualifying questions pretty much mirror the questions that you will ask when you're in person. Grab the information needed, the address. You can put the address on Zillow, which will give you the layout of the home. It would also give you how many bedrooms, baths, and the square footage of the home. Make sure you get clear with the customer of those specific areas. And again, here for things that are uncertain. My house is in bad condition. My house is really dusty. I haven't cleaned in a long time. Those things are for us an alert to go do an in-person estimate. I would rather go do an in-person estimate and make sure I price this cleaning out correctly than try to give them a price over the phone. We arrive and it's going to take 3-4 hours more than what we expected. Plus, we've gone into some houses where it's a hoarding situation. The customer can say, hey, my house is not that bad in condition, and it really is. So if you've had that experience, you know what I'm talking about. So when customers are saying certain things that are come to our attention that we should go do an in-person estimate, we would just schedule an in-person estimate. So when you do sales details over the phone, get the qualifying questions, get the necessary things for you to provide a quote. Always tell them, repeat to them what they mentioned back, what's important to them, tell them what's included in the estimate, and then give them a price. So the most important part when providing a quote is that when you give them a price, you need to not say anything. Let them say something first. Once they say something, this is gonna give you the understanding on where to guide them next. In our industry, the biggest thing is always going to be price. So we always tell the customer, if they did have add-ons, hey, can we take some of these add-ons? It will lower your price. If they say, no, I want those add-ons into my service, fantastic. Well, hey, what is your budget for this cleaning? Once they give you that budget, you know your profit margin. From there, you can negotiate a deal with them. I sometimes say, hey, I can definitely lower your price by $75. Once the cleaning service is completed, can you provide us a review? I would really appreciate that. I would make it known to them that I am giving them a good deal, and in return, I want something back. So when you provide an over the phone estimate, you get everything needed, you provide the quote. If they say yes, fantastic. Get excited for them, schedule them in, and make sure that your team shows up on time. And at the end of the service, you provide a follow-up call. The money's in the follow-up call. Do not miss that. Always follow up with them. So it should be enough information for you to provide a residential cleaning quote. Now, if you want to improve on handling objections, click on this link here and I'll show you how to handle them to get more sales.